What up? It's your girl KP, the sports chick. Thank you so much for checking in. So, today we're going to talk about the big mouth that is Josh Norman. Who is Josh Norman? Well, this time a year ago, I had no idea. Did you? I'll wait. Okay, no, I know you didn't. Before this time last year, well, let's kind of rewind. This time last year, we didn't know who he was, but last season we found out who he was when he became Messy Boots and got into an altercation with Odell Beckham Jr. during a game with his then team Carolina and the New York Giants. And it got heated. There was exchanges afterwards in the locker rooms about how the other behaved. There were comments by Odell Beckham Jr. and Josh Norman alike. I'm not going to say who was right in the situation, who was wrong in the situation. But this situation was purely brought up just because this is how we came to know Josh Norman. Most of us. If you're not a Carolina Panthers fan, I mean, like, you know, this time last year, if I walked up into a Cheddar's and I saw Josh Norman in the corner eating one of those honey-covered, croissants, I'm not going to point him out from the next person. Like, he's no different than a can of paint to me. I didn't know who he was. He was just some guy. Fast forward to August 2016, we know who he is because he's got a big fat mouth and he's, already had this altercation with Odell Beckham Jr. And now there's this article that came out on ESPN that came out this week about him and his trade to the Washington Redskins, which seemingly to him, he said he was shocked and surprised and totally unaware of the fact that he was being traded. Well, first of all, let's talk about that, the fact that he got traded, and that in the way he got traded, he said that he was surprised by it. Well, I think that sounds accurate, because who would want to warn somebody like with his mouth about being traded? Because he can't shut up. He talks about everybody, and it's only to get attention. I don't see any other point in talking about anybody else's business if you, first of all, are talented on your own. Secondly, if you got your own business of your own. So that's first of all. And then secondly, nobody, you're not that great a player. I don't think, all ball players should have confidence in themselves, because if you don't believe in yourself, who else will, right? But his is on a different level, and I feel like he has to say it to really think that he's an elite cornerback. But he's not. He's mediocre at best. And he got traded for that, and I believe his mouth. I think it was a great trade. He ended up in D.C., and so now in this ESPN article, he's saying that he feels great in D.C., he feels like he's been liberated, and that it was too conservative over in Carolina. And after the Odell Beckham Jr. thing, that incident, you could see he kind of toned down a little bit. He wasn't as outspoken, and he's saying that that's because he was told to kind of calm down. So in this article, this ESPN article, he talks about the Broncos, how Demaryius Thomas, he doesn't even know why he was out there. There's a quote that I'm not even going to pretend that I memorized about him saying that he didn't even know why he was out there, and that he had him the whole time. But my brother, in the Super Bowl, there was very few opportunities that you had where you were actually alone with him, and even then, it wasn't like you actually did something. So, I don't know what game he was thinking about after the fact, but that's not what happened. And then, why are you going to trash somebody who's got a ring? You don't have a ring, bruh. You don't have a ring. You don't have a ring, bruh. So don't talk about somebody who has a ring. How clear can that get? Until you got something concrete that we can show for your work. Defensive Player of the Year? No. You got a ring? No. Have people voted you as the best? No. So what are you talking about? So he's talking about Sam Bradford. Like, why are we talking about Sam Bradford? He's saying he can't wait to play this brother 2 times a year. I can guarantee you, Odell Beckham and Sam Bradford are not losing sleep or air or vocabulary talking about you. You're the ones talking. You're the one talking about them. They're not worried about you. And in this article, he goes on and on about the NFL, Roger Goodell. Now, everybody hates Roger Goodell. I mean, I think that's the only place everybody else can empathize with him. But on the level of which he's talking about it is another story. He's calling, Roger Goodell lapdog and all other kinds of fun stuff. So, check it out. And then you can empathize with this video a little bit more. But at the end of the day, Josh Norman is purely known for his mouth, not his talent. He's not that talented. So he has to talk, and I think he's aware of that. And you know what? That trade to DC was purely done because of his mouth. It wasn't because of his talent, because this time, again, last year, nobody knew who he was. And he was on nobody's radar. And he became a figure on somebody's radar once he used his mouth and got people's attention. So here we are, and he got traded to DC. He got bamboozled. I don't want to be around he's like a messy friend. I don't want to be around somebody who's going to tell all my business. I don't want anybody, what if Cam Newton likes to have a Cabbage Patch doll in the locker before each game, and then he kind of listens to Cassie or David Hasselhoff before each game? Like, I don't want everybody knowing that, but I feel like if Cam Newton rubs him the wrong way, then that's what's going to come out. He's going to tell all my business, and that I'm not about that life. So I'm pretty sure the locker room is a sacred place where what happens there stays there, what's said there stays there. So the question going forward is, now that he's traded, now that we know he has a big, fat, humongous mouth, what will his new teammates do? How will they adapt to him? Do they welcome him? Are they going to be afraid to even be themselves around him? Because I feel like there's no holds barred with him. So I'd like to see what you think about it, because I could be wrong, and I'm open to hear what you have to say about it. So let me know what you think.